What's up, guys? This is going to be the weekly bet recap episode number 6, coming off of Bellator 237 this past weekend, as well as the PFL Championships on New Year's Eve. So definitely some exciting fights on the Bellator card. 5 out of the 6 ending in a finish. And the one that went the distance with Keita Nakamura and Lorenz Larkin, even then I thought it could have been stopped a couple times. Nakamura took a pretty bad beating in that fight. But for confident picks, we had Lorenz Larkin, Michael Venom Page from the Bellator card, and they were paired up with Brendan Logan from PFL. So 3 for 3 again this week, 13-1 over the past 3 weeks for those confident picks. So definitely some money being made there. But we did have a couple losses. So Joanne, she came out looking really good in the first round. She lit up Watanabe, clear advantage there. But I think, when she went for the kill in the first, she had an adrenaline dump, and her cardio cost her the fight. So it's just one of those things. Worth a bet, though, at dog odds. She was the better fighter. She just needs to get that cardio in check. And then we had both the confident picks coming through next up. So Lorenz Larkin, dominant decision win there over Nakamura, and then Page getting an early second round knockout. And I think they're going to start giving Venom Page some more, high level competition. Now, it's not that Anzai isn't a high level competitor, it's the advantages that he has, right? So he's had, 6 to 7 inches reach and height in both of his last fights, or most recent fights anyway, and clear advantages. So I'd like to see him get a rematch for the title against Lima. I think that'd be a really good fight for him at this point. He's looked so dominant, right? He just clowns all his opponents. And Bellator definitely does that strategically, right? They want him to look as good as he does, to bring in that viewership every time he fights. But time to give him some more serious fights at this point. And then we had Sydney Outlaw, small shot there with the lines being off. It's dog or pass for me with Michael Chandler at this point. He can still, deliver those knockouts and get the finishes. He's fast and, technical, but I don't think he can absorb the damage. So as much as he can give a shot, I don't think he can take one. But he didn't have to worry about that in this fight. He got it done early enough where Outlaw didn't tag him. So he picked up a win, good win for him, but I don't bet Chandler anymore. Too many wars that he's been in. And, coming off that knockout to Pitbull wasn't something I was interested in at all. Dog or pass, and went, small shot on Outlaw, like I said. And I just want to talk about this real quick. There was no bet, but, worst performance of the year award goes to Quentin Rampage, gassing out in about a minute, threw maybe a handful of shots, and then got knocked out. Clearly doing it for the money at this point. I think he needs to hang it up, but unfortunately I don't think he's going to. Hopefully Bellator doesn't give him another fight. They didn't get their money's worth whatsoever in that one. And I don't think he's taking it serious at all. So really bad performance by him. So over to the PFL now. This one was definitely a dog or pass card. Both the champions, Kayla Harrison and Lance Palmer, defending. Or actually, I'm not sure I don't know if there was a $1 million check for Harrison last year, but she was definitely, the dominant favorite coming into this. So she was at under 1.10. Same with Palmer, so not interested at all in those odds. Nathan Schultz, never really been too high on him at 1.44, so wasn't interested there. And we saw that the line was off because Razbadov gave him a really good fight. And then, Asev at 1.2. Again, just odds that I wasn't really interested. The only mismatch that was worth a shot was Brendan Logan. But because they were, boxing odds in some cases, we don't see many odds like this in MMA as high as 10-1. And we also saw, 8 or 9-1 with Gilpin. So I took $25 on a couple of these fights. So almost, 75 total. And I'm going to chalk it up as a loss this week, though, because I wasn't able to put up a video for the Risen card. Shout out to Quincy Pinola for the heads up on that. There was only 3 or 4 bookies that put those fights up, and none of the ones that I used. So I had to open up a new account. I did that on the day of because I only got that short notice on it. So, I was thankful to even get the heads up because I had noticed that Patricky Pitbull as well as Patrick Mix were on that card. So about 2 hours before the fight, I was able to get a bet in. It was under 1.5 odds for the two of them paired up. But, when I'm that confident, they were mismatches. It was the first round of the tournament for Patricky, and he had, Gustavo as an opponent. Clear mismatch there. And then Patrick Mix, just a lot bigger, and he's a nasty grappler. So it was a clear first round blowout in both of those fights. So a win there. But if I don't make a video for it, guys, of course I won't credit it to the tally for the channel for the week. So we'll be, We're 8 out of 11 now total. So still, almost 80%. And now that we're back on that strict strategy for 2020, We'll only be taking the bets that I really like up until end of March. So the first 3 months will be the building stage. Do that first quarter cash out. Now let's say we're up random number, so 7 G's when it's time to cash, and we have 7,500 in there. Might leave 500 in there, cash out that 7 grand. So take a chunk that you're happy with, right? And then any extra, use that on some risky bets if you have to. It's kind of like what I did here at the end of the year cash out. I was ahead a few hundred, so I rounded to the nearest grand and did it like that. But if you're not ahead, of course, don't do any risky bets. It's only when you're well into the green where you should, do anything outside of what you normally would as far as strict strategy goes, right? So there won't be as many plays now, guys, but of course I will still be giving out those confident parlay options. And there's usually probably anywhere from 2 to 4 bets a card, straight bets. A lot of times I'll find. Sometimes there's none, but for the most part, after doing research, I can usually find some decent spots. MMA is a young sport, and the odds are off a lot of times, right? The bookies are still not caught up. So I'll wrap it up here, guys. I'll put out an early play for the 246 card, as well as a full card breakdown early. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's a good time to start tracking. Again, we're going to be building up for the first 3 months to do that first cash out at the end of March. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.